Oh. Township of Edison Zoning Board of Adjustment regular meeting of August 26, 2025 is now in session. Adequate notice of this meeting as required by the Open Public Meetings Act of 1975 has been provided by the annual notice published in the Home News and Tribune on December 13, 2024, has been posted in the main lobby of the municipal complex on December 18, 2024. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Aya?
Here.
Ms. Shaw? Here. Mr. Bignell? Here. Mr. Johnny?
Here.
Mr. Chabra?
Here.
Mr. Patel?
Here.
Mr. Schneider?
Here.
Mr. Siddhartha?
Here.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Here.
And Chairman Kamba?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Minutes for consideration.
We have July 29th, 2025 for consideration.
What's the board's pleasure?
Make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Second. Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, second by Mr. Sadata. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cerrito? I'm sorry, he's not here. Mr. Chabra?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Patel?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Siddhartha?
Yes to the motion.
Vice Chair Kamba?
No, O'Gorman.
I got demoted?
But Vice Chair O'Gorman
Yes on the motion.
and Chairman Kamba?
Yes on the motion.
You've absolutely not been demoted.
That's how I'll go home for the night. It's fine. Madam Secretary, resolutions to be adopted.
First one is Z27, 2024, 1970 Edison LLC for an approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, second by Mr. Sadata. Roll call, please.
Mr. Chabra?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Siddhartha?
Yes to the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Yes on the motion.
And Chairman Kamba?
Yes on the motion.
Thank you.
Next resolution.
Z16, 2025 Bhavesh Shaw for an approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, seconded by Mr. Sadata. Roll call, please.
Mr. Chamba? Mr. Chabra?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Siddhartha?
Yes to the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Yes on the motion.
And Chairman Kamba?
Yes on the motion.
Thank you.
And the final resolution.
Z18, 2025 Shailesh Shaw for an approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Yes. Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, seconded by Mr. Sadata. Roll call, please.
Mr. Chabra?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Siddhartha?
Yes to the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Yes on the motion.
And Chairman Kamba?
Yes on the motion.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, is there another resolution?
There actually is. There's one more. There's a fourth one.
Okay.
Z9, 2025 Sambasivo Gangula for approval.
What's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, seconded by Mr. Schneider. Roll call, please.
Mr. Chabra?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes to the motion.
And Vice Chair O'Gorman.
Yes on the motion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary.
You got it.
So we have a few announcements for this evening. Case Z23, 2024, Sachin Patel at 167 Morris Avenue has been carried to October 21st, 2025, with no renotice required. If you are here for this case, Z32, 2024, Sachin Patel, it will not be heard this evening. It will be heard on Tuesday, October 21st, with the meeting beginning at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. Case Z2, 2020, Lamar Advertising at Penn LLC at 81 and 101 U.S. Highway 1 will not be heard this evening. It's being carried to October 21st, 2025 with no renotice required. If you're here for this case, Z2, 2020, Lamar Advertising at Penn LLC, it will not be heard this evening. It will be heard on Tuesday, October 21st with the meeting beginning at 7 p.m. here in council chambers. Case Z17, 2025, Suresh and Darshana Modi at 152 Lund Avenue is being carried to September 30th, 2025. It is improperly noticed, so renotice is required. Case Z20, 2025, Anjana Patel at 3 Bradford Road will not be heard this evening. It's being carried to October 21st, 2025. It's improperly noticed and renotice is required. KZ 22, 2025, Nanashwat Sawant at 17 Churchill Road it will not be heard this evening. It will be carried to October 21st, 2025. It is improperly noticed, so renotice is required. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a regular meeting of the Township of Edison Zoning Board of Adjustment. The board is composed of Edison Township residents appointed by the municipal council who volunteer their time and service to the board. The municipal land use law requires that members successfully complete a land use training course administered by the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs. This board also holds in-house training conducted by our board professionals. The zoning board abides by the provision of the municipal land use law in addition to our board's bylaws. The zoning board is a quasi-judicial land use board, which differs from the township planning board. Under the municipal land use law, board members are required to be impartial and are not allowed to discuss any case prior to being considered at a hearing. All applicants will have the opportunity to present their case before the board, along with the opportunity for board members and board professionals to question the applicant and their witnesses. At the conclusion of the applicant's presentation of the case will open to the public. Residents within 200 feet of subject property will be heard, followed by residents from outside of 200 feet. All residents will be sworn in. They'll provide their name and address, and they'll be given 6 minutes to comment on the application being considered without the opportunity for rebuttal. Residents may ask questions of the applicant's professionals, and board professionals. The board requests that these questions are asked prior to any commentary being made on the application. Once the commentary begins, the resident's timer will begin. The applicant will be allowed for the opportunity for cross-examination of their witnesses. Under the law, the chair is allowed to stop any commentary which is repetitive or an attempt to filibuster the board. Further, the chair is allowed to stop any commentary that is irrelevant to the case or prohibited from the board's consideration. Once public portion is closed, all public comments are ended unless new testimony is presented by the applicant. Following the closure of the public portion, the applicant will have the right of summation on their application. Following summation, the case will go to the board for a decision. This procedure has been followed by the board and is similar to the procedures followed by boards of adjustment statewide. The municipal land use law requires the board to engage in a balancing act and is not required to strictly apply township ordinances, zoning plan, or master plan. As a board of adjustments, variances are granted when appropriately necessary, following all legal considerations. As has been the case with prior boards, this board will see where we're at if we're still in session around 10:30 p.m. I ask that all applicants, professionals, and residents show respect to each other and be civil throughout all proceedings. I ask that you withhold applause, booing, or interrupting of anyone while they're speaking. The chair will not tolerate any outbursts by applicants, professionals, or the public. Further, since most cases are being recorded by a court reporter, I ask that speakers do not speak over one another. The first item on the agenda is a closed session for an update on pending litigation. Can I get a motion to go into closed session?
Yeah. Well,
Motion
yes,
to go
for
in closed session?
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, seconded by Mr. Patel. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Board will adjourn to closed session. We should not be long, everyone. Thank you. Can I get a motion to return to public session?
Motion to return to public session?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Schneider, seconded by Mr. Patel. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Board return to session. Thank you, everyone, for your patience with us. We just took care of a little work. Let's get down to business. Madam Secretary, first case on the agenda, please.
Case number Z21, 2025, Pratima Parab, 35 Manor Boulevard. Applicant is seeking a use or a D variance to construct an addition to the rear of the property. The following standards have not been met. FAR required is .44, proposed is .47. Affected property is located in the RB zone, designated as Block 593.04, Lot number 36.01 on the Edison Township Tax Map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Good evening, Mr. Shire.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Bernard Shire, firm of Convery, and Shire, representing the applicant Pratima Parab. This is a relatively straightforward application. They reside at 35 Manor Boulevard in the lot and block named by the secretary in the RB zone. It is a single-family home because they need more room for their family. They are proposing to add a master bedroom suite over the garage. There will be no expansion of the footprint of the home. They're going straight up because they simply need more room for the family. The only variance they're seeking is a floor area ratio variance, which is a relatively small one. The permitted FAR is .44. They are proposing .47. They are essentially 264 square feet over the limit. I have Ms. Parab here this evening to testify as to why they want to do this and what they're doing. And I have Mr. Paul Fletcher, who's a licensed planner, to testify to the planning aspects of the application. Unless there are any preliminary questions, I'm ready to proceed.
Anybody have any preliminary questions for Mr. Shire? You may proceed, Mr. Shire.
Thank you. Call Pratima Parab.
Ms. Parab, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Pull the microphone closer to you.
I do.
Okay. And state your full name.
My name is Pratima Parab. Good evening, everyone. We are residing at 35 Manor Boulevard, me and my husband, Abhijit Chaudhary, from 2013, almost 12 years. I have a family of 5. I have 2 kids who are 15 and 18 respectively. My daughter will be going to college nearby at Rutgers. She'll be staying home and commuting. I have my in-laws nearby who visit often, and with the growing kids and the family growing, we feel that we are short of 1 bedroom, and we have this little extra space above our family room over the garage. We wanted to have 1 bathroom and master bedroom built there. Both me and my husband work from home. We were just having little extra space that needed because we can use that as home office space as well at times. This is the only thing we are looking. We are not adding to the footprint of the house, no changes to the lot. We love our neighbors. We want to be in the area. We love our town. We don't plan to move so soon. My kids are going to school here, at least for next 5 to 8 years. We are not moving anywhere.
I have no other questions.
Does the board have any questions for Mrs. Parab? Seeing none. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Call Paul Fletcher.
You?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
And just state your full name for the record.
Paul J. Fletcher.
And Mr. Fletcher, you have appeared prior to us. If you could just give the board a quick summary of your background qualifications.
Certainly. I'm the principal and owner of Fletcher Engineering, have been for 32 years. I'm a licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey. We've been providing engineering and planning services to the private community for those 32 years. I've been in front of this board and many others in Middlesex County on a number of occasions.
And your planning license is current in good standing?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we'll accept you. You may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Fletcher, you've reviewed this application and the relevant ordinances of the Township of Edison with regard to giving planning testimony in this matter.
Yes, I have.
Could you please give the board the benefit of your review?
Certainly. The subject property, 35 Manor Drive, it's known as Lot 36.01 and Block 593.04. It's in the RB zone. It has 7,950 square feet, and it's currently improved with a 1- and 2-story brick and frame dwelling. The applicant proposes to expand the house by building over the attached garage. The footprint of the building will not change. There will be no additional foundation. The second floor will be enlarged for a master bedroom suite. Because of that enlargement, the total square footage of the building will now, and it's proposed, it will now exceed the allowable FAR ratio. Allowed in the RB zone is 44%. Proposed is 47%. Firstly, I'd like to opine that I believe that's a de minimis difference, would not be noticed by the public. However, a D4 FAR variance is required. And we must address the positive and negative criteria regarding justification of the variance. As pertains to the positive criteria, courts have found that the D4 FAR variance is more like a D3 conditional use variance, and that the board's focus must be on whether the site will accommodate the problems associated with the proposed permitted use, but with a larger floor area ratio than permitted by the ordinance. In this case, I see frankly, no problems associated with this. We're not changing the impervious or the lot coverage. We're just enlarging the square footage of the second floor. I think it also, we can say that it promotes the general welfare in that this building would be modernized. It'll have a new facade. It'll be aesthetic improvement to the neighborhood, and hopefully will add value. With regards to the negative criteria, the MLUL states that no variance or other relief may be granted without showing that such variance or other relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and will not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan and zoning ordinance. I see no substantial detriment to the public good. As I've mentioned, we're not enlarging the footprints. We're not changing stormwater management or stormwater runoff. We're improving the aesthetics of the building, and we're proposing a de minimis increase in floor area, which requires the D4 variance. But I see no significant impairment to the zone plan nor the master plan of the Township of Edison. I think based on those facts and case law, I think the board has the authority to grant this requested variance.
I have no other questions.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Fletcher? Seeing none? Okay, Mr. Vice Chairman.
How does this fit into the characteristics of the neighborhood, this proposed addition?
There are many other two-story homes in the building, in the neighborhood. This is a partial two-story home. It's just being modernized by being all two-story.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none. Thank you very much, Mr. Fletcher.
That's the applicant's case, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
All right, so we'll now go to the public. Anyone within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard, if you are within 200 feet of subject site, you received a notice via certified mail. Go outside of 200 feet of subject site. Seeing none, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close public portion?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Schneider, seconded by Mr. Patel. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Public portion is now closed, and I'll go to the board.
Mr. Chairman, actually, there were two people that did want to speak. I don't think they understood what you were saying. If you could reopen the public portion, just for
Can I
that.
get a motion to reopen the public portion?
Motion to reopen the public portion?
Second.
Second.
You caught me on a good night, Mr. Shire. Motion made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Public portion is now open. Anyone within 200 feet of subject site wanting to be heard, please approach.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Ma'am, pull the microphone closer to you. You said you do. Okay, and state your full name and provide your address, please.
My full name is Bhavna Sharma. My address is 38 Manor Boulevard.
Okay, ma'am. If you could please tell us, you have 6 minutes.
I know Pratima and Abhijit since 8 years, and they are a nice family, and I do not have any objection from them to building their house.
Okay, that's all you have to say? Thank you very much. Anyone else within 200 feet of subject site?
So raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And state your full name for the record. Provide your address.
Suresh Koya. We live in 15 Manor Boulevard. We live 2 blocks.
Sir, not to interrupt you, you can bring the microphone closer. There you go.
Yeah. We live on 15 Manor Boulevard, which is 2 houses away from Pratima's house. We do not have any objection for them to upgrade their home. So we lived there in the street for 8 years, and we've known them for 8 years. Objections.
Great, thank you so much. Anyone else within 200 feet of subject site want to be heard? Anyone outside of subject site want to be heard? Can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close the public portion?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Schneider, second by Mr. Johnny. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Public portion is now closed, and I'll go to the board.
Mr. Chairman,
Vice Chairman.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this application based on meeting the positive and negative criteria. It'll be an improvement to the neighborhood. There's no increase to the impervious or the lot coverage. There was no objections from the neighbors. There's actually 2 that positive enforcement that they approved this. Thank you.
Second.
Motion made by Vice Chairman O'Gorman, second by Mr. Patel. Roll call, please.
Mr. Johnny?
Yes in the motion.
Mr. Chabra?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes to the motion?
Mr. Patel?
Yes to the motion.
Mr. Siddhartha?
Yes to the motion.
Vice Chair O'Gorman?
Yes on the motion.
And Chairman Kamba?
Yes on the motion.
Thank you.
Unanimous approval. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, next case on the agenda.
Case number Z8, 2025, Sacred Foundation, 3880 Park Avenue. Applicant is seeking a use or a D variance to utilize 2,800 square feet of the 65,000 square foot building and will share parking with the building for use of a house of worship and gathering. Standards have not been met in accordance with the master plan. A place of worship is not a permitted use in this zone. Affected property is located in the RI zone, designated as block number 593, lot number 1.35 on the Edison Township tax map. All noticing paperwork is in order.
Getting outnumbered by attorneys. Who's taking the lead? Mr. Smith?
I'm doing a little introduction, and then I'm passing the case over to my colleague, David Persad. But for the record, Mr. Chairman, my name is Bob Smith. I'm a licensed attorney in the state of New Jersey, and I'm here tonight representing Sacred Foundation, which is a New Jersey nonprofit. We're here tonight for a use variance, which is why we're in front of the zoning board. Let me tell you a little bit about the application. First of all, both myself and Mr. Prasad will be presenting it. We are representing a New Jersey nonprofit corporation, and we're seeking a use variance for this application, which is Z08-2025. The property is located at 3880 Park Avenue, Block 593, Lot 1.35. It is in the RI zone. The lot contains an existing building that is approximately 65,000 square feet with 173 parking spaces on the northwest and south sides of the building. And the building has frontage also on Park Avenue. What we're proposing to do, and asking your permission to do, is allowing us as a tenant in the building to utilize approximately 2,800 square feet for religious use, specifically a Hindu temple. No site changes are proposed with this application, only the interior fit-outs for the religious use. And additionally, this building is currently, it has an adequate number of parking spaces for the religious use and the existing industrial commercial uses permitted on the site. As you will recognize, or you'll hear from our planner tonight, this is an inherently beneficial use case. This is a religious use, which in New Jersey case law gets that characterization and the benefits of being inherently beneficial use. So we hope you'll consider it in that light. We also, in the testimony tonight, will show you that we will have little or no impact on the surrounding neighborhood. So we hope you'll listen to the traffic testimony in great detail. The variance that we're seeking is a D1 use variance to permit a religious house of worship in the RI zone, where it is currently not a permitted use. We intend to call 3 witnesses. On behalf of the Sacred Foundation, Bao Kilcarney will be coming forward. Our traffic engineer is John Ray from McDonough and Ray Associates, and our planner is Jim Higgins from J.W. Higgins and Associates. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to turn the case over to my colleague, David Persad, and I will get out of his way.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time, Board. I really appreciate this. So before we start testimony, for the record, I'd like to just address that we have 2 professional staff reports that we received from the township. We have the Bignell Planning Consultants report dated March 18, 2025, and we also recently received a report from the Police Department from Sergeant Michael Winters dated August 21st, 2025. With that, I could proceed with my next witness if the Board doesn't have any questions of me.
Board have any questions? Mr. Bignell?
Yeah, our latest review is June 10th, 2025.
I'll grab that real quick. So if we would like to proceed, I can call my first witness.
Okay. I believe I've been informed by counsel that there is opposing counsel on this case. Yes, sir. Can you approach the?
Damon Kress, McGovern Legal Services on behalf of the Park Gate Condominium Association, the adjacent property owner.
Okay, so just so you understand, the run of show, the way we do things in this board is, so Mr. Prasad is going to present the applicant's case. At the conclusion of his case, it'll then turn it over to you, and then you'll then question the witnesses. I know some boards do it different ways, but this is how we do it here.
So I'll question his witnesses after he's done putting his whole case.
After he's done with his case, that's correct. Okay.
And I'd also like to clarify for the record that you only represent the Parkgate Condominium Association and not an individual, correct?
That's correct. I don't represent any of the individuals who live in the community.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Prasad.
Thank you. For my first witness, I'd like to call.
Can you approach?
I also sent a.
No, you got to talk in the microphone, counsel.
Sure. Fred Puglisi, 2163 Oak Tree Road. Also submitted a letter to the planning board, the secretary, or the construction office advising that I'd be here tonight on behalf of one of the neighbors, 3900 Park Avenue Associates.
Okay. All right, so you'll get same ground rules. Thank you very much.
So for first witness, I'd like to call Mr. Kulkarni from the Sacred Foundation.
Good evening, everyone.
Mr. Kulkarni, you can. Sir, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And state your full name for the record.
I'm Bhav Kulkarni, and I live in Lyndhurst, New Jersey. Bhav, B-H-A-U, Kulkarni, K-U-L-K-A-R-N-I.
Mr. Kulkarni, can you please state your role and relationship to Sacred Foundation?
I'm one of the founding trustees. We founded this nonprofit organization in February of 2023.
And what is the proposed use of the property at 3800 Park Avenue, or 3880 Park Avenue?
We want to create a space for people to come for prayers and worshiping of a deity from a small area region of India called Pandharpur, which is not a very commonly known kind of or a very large organization as a temple. It will be a very small congregation, and that is what we are trying to build.
And how many square feet are you intending to use out of the entire building?
We are taking 2,800 square feet.
Okay. Do you currently have a location for your temple?
Yes, last 3 years I have been having this temple at my home in Lyndhurst in Bergen County.
And why did you choose Edison Township for your new location?
Like I said, we are a pretty small congregation, and a lot of people that visit the temple from time to time are from Edison, Piscataway area. And for them, obviously, they would like to come a little more often, but they can't because Lyndhurst is really some ways away. So one is convenience, and the other is, of course, Edison as a town is very welcoming, and we find that it will be beneficial for us to be here in Edison town.
And can you tell the board what your proposed hours of operation are?
Monday to Friday, we operate 7 to 12 in the morning and 4 to 8 in the evenings. And Saturday, Sunday, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Just to clarify, between the hours of 12 and 4 p.m. during the weekdays, the building is closed?
Our temple area will be closed.
Do you have any employees for the building?
No, this is entirely run by volunteers.
And are there volunteers to close and open the building?
Yes, many of them in Edison area. That is why coming to Edison is going to be very helpful for us.
How many congregants do you expect to be in the building on a daily basis?
On a daily basis, we will expect about 40 people to visit us over this 8-9 hour period.
And how long do congregants typically stay in the building?
Congregants are free to come and go as they wish. There is no specific timing like a mass or any such activity. People come and go, and typical time for a family to be in the temple will be about 15 minutes.
And as you mentioned, the foundation does not hold any mass or weekly services?
No.
Do you celebrate religious holidays or hold religious events where overflow parking will be needed?
Not really, because we are not. We have just 1 or 2 events in the year, and they are held at Johnson Park in Piscataway. That is what we have been doing for the last 3 years. So whenever there is any kind of large event or festival to be conducted, we hold it outside somewhere in a large park or such space. And we don't have any plans for, a cafeteria for people or allowing people to hold like some ceremonies, marriage ceremonies, anything of that sort. It is purely for visiting the temple for the purpose of praying.
Thank you, Mr. Kulkarni. I have no further questions if the board has any questions.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Kulkarni? Vice Chairman?
Yes, I have a question. So you're going to have 40 to 50 attendees per day, and they visit, they're going to be there for 10 to 15 minutes?
That's correct.
Is it spread out, or they all come at
They
once?
come and go. No, not because there is no specific service offered from the temple side. So there is no timing, 7 to noon and 4 to 8 during these 9 hours. People come and go whenever they want, whenever they have time, on the way to office, on the way back, whatever.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Sadada?
There is no kitchen or you're distributing any food?
No. I mean, prasad will be there a little bit, but no food as such, like a lunch, dinner, nothing of that sort.
Oh, thank you.
Any other questions? So
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Mr. Schneider.
So the area I see here on the plan is 2,800 square feet, so it's just a big open space?
Big open space, that's good. So in one corner, there will be those 3 or 4 deities that are from this Pandharpur region. And in front of that will essentially be an open hall.
Now, where, is there another facility? You mentioned Lyndhurst at your home, but is there another facility anywhere in this area?
No. Like I said, it's a very small, it's not like, some very large temple that even back home in India, it is not a very large temple which has got all over India presence or multiple locations. It's just one temple in India as well. So there is a group of people who subscribe to that particular, here in Edison area mainly. So there will be no formal time that, okay, all 50 people come at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock or anything of that sort.
Would there be any events?
Events, like I said, we have got just 1 or 2 big events in the year, but the number of people can be much larger than even 100. So we don't do it in the temple at all. Even right now, last 3 years, we have been holding it in Johnson Park, Piscataway.
Yes, Chairman.
Mr. Johnny?
So at a specific point of time, how many people you are expecting in your temple?
We would expect about 3-4 families, so maybe 10-12 people at a time, kind of streaming through the temple.
Do you have any residential area for any priest or something in your area?
No. Because like I said, it is all done by volunteers, so we don't have employed priest or anything like that at the temple.
So you lock down the temple at 8 o'clock or 8:30?
That's correct. And between 12 and 4 in the afternoon.
What kind of scale are you looking for in next 2 to 3 years in the temple?
Frankly, number of people as a size of congregation is not one of our parameters because this community is very well defined. People who believe in Lord Vithala in the Pandharpur area.
Understood.
And
but by word of mouth, right? You don't do any scaling, but by word of mouth, people start coming in. Do you expect any kind of scalability in your temple? And if so, how much?
Some growth will be there, but I don't want to go into too much detail, but maybe it is important to put it in front of you right now. This particular deity is considered to be a manifestation of Lord Krishna, and that is what most Indians pray. So very specific people believe in this particular thing. So we are not saying that just because we're in Edison, suddenly some 200 more people will start coming or anything like that.
No, I'm just trying to understand your
So of course, right now we are getting not even 10 in Edison. In Lyndhurst, because it's a very remote area for people here.
Right.
So from 10, we are already taking it to 40 per day. But we don't expect that 40 to become like 100 or anything.
Are you planning to build something more in rest of the area, like 65,000 square feet is available? Are you planning to increase?
At least right now, we don't have any activity to support that kind of growth. Like I said, no wedding halls that's not in our plan.
That is what I mean.
Yeah. No, certainly not.
I'm good.
Thank you, Mr. Johnny.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Vice Chairman?
Okay, so you had said there are going to be 1 or 2 big events. Define what your event is. How many people? What time of the year?
It happens in August. One main event is in August, and that goes for about 4 hours. And what happens is, that is why we go to Johnson Park, specifically grow 3-4, because they are very large. So we put a small pandal in the middle of the ground, and people kind of, perambulate around that for 3-4 hours. That's the program. But that cannot happen in the temple or in our parking lot or anywhere. We have to go to a larger park for that.
So that's one event. You said one or two. What's the other one?
So in that time itself, so the one that I told you right now is about the conclusion of the ceremony. And in the middle, sometimes there is a specific date that comes, in which case we might have 2 celebrations in that year. Both have a similar nature. One is in the middle of, so it's an 18-day period of festivities. So sometimes you'll have only the end date, which is called Ashadi Ekadashi. And sometimes we might have 2 dates, one in the middle of this 18-day period. Both are similar in nature. People perambulate around a deity, but it takes 3-4 hours. And if it is 250, 300 people, then anyway, we can try to squeeze them into this new area.
All right, thank you.
And with regard to that same subject, so if, I know you have it in Johnson Park, what's the plan for if it rains?
It's a risk that we have to take. But that is exactly the date on which it happens in India also. And India also is having rains, everything that happens here, and nothing stops. So people just come, because people who believe in that, people who want to worship that, they will not care whether it is sunny or rainy or whatever.
If so approved, would you agree to a condition that there would be no large events held at the site?
Sure, absolutely. We have no intention.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much, sir.
For my next witness, I do have Mr. John Ray from McDonough and Ray Associates to testify on the traffic.
We have it?
You solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And state your full name, please.
John Ray, REA.
Mr. Ray, you've appeared before this board prior. If you could please just give us a brief summary of your background qualifications.
Sure. I'm a licensed professional engineer in the state of New Jersey. My field of specialty is traffic engineering. I now have a total of 50 years' experience in the traffic engineering field, the last 40 of which have been doing consulting work here in the state of New Jersey. And I have an undergraduate degree in civil engineering from NJIT and a master's in traffic engineering from NYU. And I've appeared before this board and literally hundreds of other boards throughout the years as a traffic expert.
And license are current and good standing?
Yes, sir.
You may proceed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Board Chair. Mr. Ray, you have a chance to review the application and prepare a report regarding the traffic and parking situation on the site. Is that correct?
I have.
Can you please give the board the benefit of your study?
Okay. So when I was engaged to do the traffic study, it was just about at the end of the school year. So we got out to the intersection of Park Avenue and Parkgate Drive, Stephenville Parkway, before Edison Township Schools closed for the season. We did peak hour traffic counts at the intersection in June of 2025. And I visited the site personally during the afternoon peak hour, around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, to observe traffic conditions. I interviewed the applicant, and you've heard the testimony with respect to the statement of operations. And I basically added that traffic to the intersection that they're going to add. We're talking about 4 to 5, on an average, 4 to 5 worshipers per hour over a typical day. I assumed it would be double that during a peak hour. There would be 10 worshipers per hour going into and out of the site during a peak hour. And to give you a handle on what the impact will be on the intersection, during the afternoon peak hour at the intersection of Park Avenue and Parkgate Drive, Stephenville, there are over 2,000 cars going through the intersection. Worst case scenario, this application is going to add 10 cars. That's 0.5%. So I think it was pretty easy for me to draw a conclusion that based on the statement of operations, that this application, if approved by the zoning board, will not have a significant impact on traffic conditions in the area. The second thing I did was look at the parking supply. There are 173 parking spaces in the parking lot for the 65,000 square foot building. Again, assuming a worst case scenario that at any particular time we would need 10 or maybe even 20 of those parking spaces for worshipers during a typical day, there would be 153 to 163 parking spaces left. I went to the Institute of Transportation Engineers parking generation manual, and I calculated how much additional parking based on the ITE would be required for the warehouse, assuming that another warehouse use went into the building. And based on the ITE numbers, we're looking at a demand of an additional 67 parking spaces, and we have a minimum of 153 that will be left. So there will not be a parking issue or a parking problem should this application be approved.
I have no further questions for Mr. Ray, if the board has any questions.
Does the board have any questions of Mr. Ray? Mr. Prasad, with regard to Officer Winter's letter and your response, would you like to address that with Mr. Ray, or?
Yes, Mr. Ray, if you can please address.
Sure. Actually, the police report recommends that we have a one-way exit only out to Parkgate Drive and no entrance from Parkgate Drive. It is my understanding that my applicant is willing to accept that restriction. The problem is we'd have to run that by the landlord, the person that owns the building. I don't know if we've done that yet, but the police report makes a lot of sense. My client is willing to use the second driveway on Park Avenue and direct people to use that driveway. The only thing I will say is I do agree with the police report that during peak hours, it would be beneficial to the worshipers if they could get access to the traffic signal at Stephenville Parkway to make a left turn at the traffic signal instead of directly out onto Park Avenue. So I think I understand why the police report recommends an exit only to Parkgate Drive and no entrance. And we can comply with the police report.
So just to clarify, Mr. Ray, we are going to agree that we will use a southern entrance, not the Parkgate Drive entrance for parishioners as much as we can, and we will comply with the police report into just using Parkgate Drive as an exit only in times of peak hour traffic?
That is correct.
But that would be subject to landlord approval, correct?
The landlord approval will only have to come if we put a physical gate or barrier, as he suggested. That would have to take the landlord's approval, but otherwise, the congregation can be limited to one exit, and then only used Parkgate as a exit only.
Okay. So, Mr. Ray, I have a question. So did you do any analysis into the signalized interchange at Parkgate
Yes.
Drive? If you could speak to that and speak to, so here's my concern. My concern is that, you know, I understand it's not like there's a service and the service is over and everybody heads for the exit at the same time. But my concern is that if that signalized intersection can handle the additional vehicles as proposed.
Understood.
If you could please address that.
Worst case scenario is the afternoon peak hour where we had a total of 2,015 vehicles going through the intersection. Worst case scenario, we would add another 10 vehicles, about 0.5% I did run an analysis of the intersection which showed that the increase in incremental delay would be approximately 2 seconds per vehicle under that worst case scenario. So I do believe the impact will be minimal. And I was out at the site during the peak hours in the afternoon. The majority of the traffic, as you know, is north and south on Park Avenue, which is a Middlesex County arterial. It's County Route 531, and it's, I'm sorry, I'm hearing something behind me. Give me a minute. So it's a busy Middlesex County arterial. Most of the traffic is on Park Avenue.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any questions, Mr. Ray? Okay.
Yeah, just to clarify, is the applicant willing to comply with the police recommendation and request of the landlord the gate to be installed?
We have spoken to the landlord. Unfortunately, they are not willing to budge on that. What I was saying is that the congregation, the applicant itself, will limit all of their traffic to the southern entrance because that's pretty much all they have control over. The rest of it is up to the landlord, and the landlord has an agreement recorded with the county dated, I think, 1982. And they purchased a building with that agreement, so they are not willing at the moment to limit their traffic or put a physical barrier at one entrance. But the applicant and the congregation will be clearly directed to use only the southern entrance and not interfere with the Parkgate Drive.
So the testimony seemed that the applicant was willing to accept the police letter and recommendation. However, that's not really the case, right? So even though you'd like to accept it, you can't because the landlord's not allowing it.
Yeah, my testimony is, I understand why the police report recommended us just having an exit to Parkgate Drive, but I think what our applicant and our client's willing to do is not use it at all and just use the access to Park Avenue, and that could be put in the resolution.
So this police letter was just sent to you like 3 days ago, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So within the last 3 days, the landlord put their foot down and said, no, you can't put a gate here?
Well, we addressed it with the landlord when we received the letter. It took a couple days for him to get back to us, but what he said was essentially that it is difficult for him as a building owner to limit the entrance that exists for his site. And especially because we are an applicant that is only using 2,800 square feet of the building. So what we did in order to accommodate that was to agree to, for the congregation and for the applicant's use, that all of the congregation and its members will limit their traffic to the southern entrance. So to avoid causing any delay or any problems with the Parkgate community as much as we can.
If I could just further on my colleague's question, would you also agree so as to not to touch upon the Parkgate Drive, so as to limit your both entering and exiting vehicles through the other driveway on Park Avenue?
I'm sorry, so not to use a Parkgate Drive at all? The applicant will agree to that, of course.
Okay, so if so approved, we would make that a condition. Okay.
Mr. Chair, you done?
Okay, I cut you off, Mr. Stein, I
Oh,
apologize.
that's okay. I was finished.
Vice Chairman?
All right, so let's expand on that. So you're going to say that it's going to be open. The police are recommending a gate, and you're saying there's no gate, right?
Correct. We tried to reason with the landlord as the owner of the building to install a gate or a barrier. As the owner of the building is a separate landlord from our applicant, he was not willing to do so. And since our application is very minimal in the size of 2,800 square feet compared to the entire building altogether, we are willing to limit our participation, the applicants and their congregation, to not using that exit.
How do the attendees know that it's limited, you can't go through that gate?
We will put signage on the entrance directed for them to use. As the applicant did say, Mr. Kulkarni said, is a small congregation. They are not here to cause any disturbance or to disturb the neighbors. That's not their intention at all. They will drive it home with their participants that they will not use the Parkgate entrance if that is the request of the board. They have no issues with that.
But it's in and out, so coming in, how do they know they can't use it coming in also?
Well, we will make it very clear. We'll put a sign, if that's the request of the board, at the southern entrance that says Sacred Foundation entrance only, entrance and exit only. They will direct the traffic specifically to only using that entrance. There is no purpose to disturb the Parkgate community and no intention to do so.
All right, so they're not going to go through the northern entrance on Park Avenue. What about on the southern exit? Was there been a traffic study done on making a left?
Yes, it will be, during peak hours, there will be delay associated with the left turn. I do believe that's why the police recommended at least giving us an access to Parkgate Drive. But I can certainly hear you. That, I believe, is why the police recommended giving us an exit to Parkgate Drive, which I think from an overall traffic perspective makes sense. However, as Mr. Prasad has indicated, our landlord, the person that owns the building, will not accept any restrictions on that driveway. So we're kind of stuck in the middle here, but our congregation is willing to do whatever the board decides needs to be done in order to limit the impact to Parkgate Drive.
So my question is on the south entrance.
Yes.
And they go to make a left. Did you do a study on that?
There's going to be delay. Yes, there's a queue from the signal. They're going to have to wait for the light to turn green on Park Avenue and find a gap, maybe even a courtesy gap. During peak hours, it will be difficult.
Did you do a study on that?
Yes.
Where is that? In here?
It's in the report. I've been out to the site during peak hours.
So in reference to that south entrance, where in the report?
Give me a second.
Take your time.
The printouts for the unsignalized left turn were not included in the appendix to the report, but I have them. So bear with me. I do have them. So the left turn out onto Park Avenue will operate at what we call level of service E during the afternoon peak hour. That's the worst of the two. During the morning peak hour, it will be level of service C. During the afternoon peak hour, the worst case, it'll be 38 seconds of delay and a level of service E, which is still considered to be an acceptable level of service.
So that's not in your, in this report?
I have the printouts. I was under the assumption when I came to the meeting tonight, based on the police report, that we were going to be allowed to use Parkgate Drive. So I'm trying to answer your question as best as I can.
I
I have
appreciate
the
it.
information, and I'm under oath, and I just testified to it.
Can we get that information submitted for the record?
I can provide it to your professionals, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Ray?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chhabra.
Mr. Ray, what about the left turn from Park Ave to the south entrance? Do you see any
Same thing,
conflicts
I
there?
got to go back and look at the printouts. That'll be a little bit of a better level of service, because what's going to happen there is when the signal is red for southbound Park Avenue traffic, there'll be a gap for that movement to be made. Give me a minute to look at the printouts. That left turn is actually going to be level of service A during both the morning and afternoon peak hours, based
Okay.
on the volume and based on the fact that we're going to get a gap from the signal.
Okay, and you'd mentioned you'd conducted a field observation study back in June 2025, is that correct?
Yes.
And you said approximately what time was it?
The morning counts were done 7 to 9:30. The peak hour in the morning occurred 8:15 to 9:15. The afternoon counts were done from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and the afternoon peak hour occurred between 4:45 and 5:45.
And when did you observe the most influx of vehicles? What time would you
Around
say?
5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Into the warehouse?
There is no traffic going into and out of the warehouse now. It's empty.
Okay.
There are no tenants.
There's
So
no tenants?
No traffic going in and out.
So the whole building is unoccupied?
Yes. At the time I was there.
Okay, do you happen to know who the occupants or tenants are at the moment?
There are none at the moment, and in my report, I did include the vacant space. I did do a traffic generation estimate for the vacant space, assuming it was going to be warehouse at one day. I did include that in the report, but at this point in time, I did not notice any other tenants in the building.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, if I can clarify, there are tenants in the building. I have walked the site personally as well with the applicant, and during 2 o'clock in the afternoon and at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and there were no more than 10 cars in the parking lot. I believe that a majority of the building is being used for just storage, but other than that, there was no more than 10.
I did not notice any traffic entering or leaving during that time. There may have been some cars parked in the parking lot, but if there were, it was very minimal, and there was no traffic entering or leaving.
Okay, and Mr. Prasad, you said, what's the current tenants that are in there? You just said storage, or?
I'm not sure of the exact tenants that are in the building. I can just say that I saw 10 cars in the lot when we went there to walk the site.
Okay, all right.
Just to clarify that there are actual tenants in the building.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board for Mr. Ray? Seeing none. Thank you very much, Mr. Ray.
Thank you.
Mr. Prasad.
If I can call my next witness, it's our professional planner, Mr. James Higgins.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Higgins. Would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And state your full name for the record.
James W. Higgins, Higgins.
Mr. Higgins, you appeared before the board prior. If you could just please give us a quick summary of your background qualifications.
Surely. I am a licensed planner in the state of New Jersey. My license is current. I've been a planner for approximately 45 years. I have testified before this board on a number of occasions as an expert in the field of planning. I've testified before boards in roughly 100 municipalities throughout the state over the years. Been a planning consultant representing a number of municipalities over the years. And I've been recognized by the state Supreme Court as an expert in the field of planning.
And your license are current and good standing?
My license is currently, yes, is currently.
Excellent. Thank you so much. You may proceed.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Higgins, you had a chance to review the application and prepare some planning testimony in regards to the inherently beneficial use of a house of worship.
Yes, I did.
Can you please give the board the benefit of your testimony and your findings?
Yeah, surely. The use has been described to you, so I won't go over that again. I think that's really wasting everybody's time. But the site is in the RI Restricted Industrial Zone. It's a number of light industrial uses, office uses, or permitted uses in the zone, as well as commercial recreational uses limited to tennis, racquetball, and swimming facilities. Freestanding communications towers and microwave antennas and dishes are conditionally permitted uses in the zone. And the ordinance, your ordinance, and it's somewhat unusual, but there are some municipalities that do that. There are uses that are specifically prohibited. And that's residential uses, commercial uses unless they're an accessory to one of the permitted uses, and hazardous uses of buildings and land. Houses of worship are not specifically permitted, so that a use variance is necessary, and it's a D1 use variance. The standards for a D1 variance are, first of all, to show that there are special reasons for the granting of the variance and that there is no substantial negative impact to surrounding areas or to your zone plan. In this instance, the positive reasons, the special reasons for the granting of the variance are met. As has been stated, the use is an inherently beneficial use as identified by the courts in the municipal land use law. And so therefore, the positive reason for the granting of the variance has been met, the special reasons. With regard to inherently beneficial uses, there is a specific test that has been developed by the state Supreme Court in the Sika versus Wall Township case back in the 1980s. And that test is a 4-step test to determine whether or not the application should be approved. The first step is to determine the magnitude of the benefit of the variance. And in this instance, you have a use that is inherently beneficial. You have a use that has protections under the Constitution of the United States and also has protections with specific legislation, federal legislation, the religious, institutional, and let me get this right. And I don't have that in my notes as far as, but it's called RILUPA, but it's Religious and Institutional Land Use Procedures, I think, Act, if I'm correct in that. So that I think the magnitude of the benefit is substantial. With regard to determining, the next step 2 is determine if there are any potential negative impacts from the proposed use. And generally, first of all, looking at generally, you have a site that is an industrial site. It's adjacent to an industrial site to the south, and then to the north and the west, you have residential uses. So it's in a transitional type area between residential uses and industrial uses. So to have a use such as a house of worship, which typically are allowed in residential zones, it provides for a very nice transition. It softens the industrial use, for lack of a better word, by having a use that is more compatible with residential uses in the area. So that I think that's one aspect of there's no substantial negative impact. If anything, I think it might be a slight positive impact by reducing the intensity of the industrial use of the site. Second would be aesthetics, and there are no proposed changes to the appearance of the site or the building. So there's no substantial negative impact whatsoever with regard to aesthetics. With regard to noise, all the activities are inside the building, so there's no substantial noise impact. And then the other one, which has been discussed at length tonight, is traffic. And quite frankly, when I look at all the issues for traffic, the first thing is that this is a 2,800 square foot section of the building. People are going to be coming during morning hours and afternoon hours in small groups. We might have 3 or 4 people coming an hour, 3 or 4 cars coming in an hour. You may have 2 or 3 families in there, and just, it's simply a house of prayer. It's not a place where there's a large congregation that's meeting in formal religious ceremonies. It's informal, people come in, they pray, and then they leave. So as far as the traffic goes, it's very intermittent during the day. It's not a big rush of traffic at a time of a service and then a big rush leaving the site. And it's quite frankly, the traffic is not much different than what would be occurring if that 2,800 square feet were to be utilized either for industrial purposes or for office purposes, which are both permitted in the zone. So I don't see any substantial negative impact to the traffic. I know there's been discussion about closing off Parkgate Avenue, and quite frankly, closing that off would create, in my opinion, much more of a traffic problem, because then all of the traffic on the site, particularly traffic leaving the site, would have to go out on the southern access. And all those left-hand turns that now can be made at the Parkgate light would have to be made at that southern driveway. So I think if anything, what's being proposed here has no substantial negative impact on the use on the site and the surrounding area as far as traffic goes. And I think some of the suggestions that have been made as far as closing the gate off would probably have more of a negative impact. And if this application were not approved, there would be no closing off at that intersection or that entrance, because the site, somebody could move in without any kind of approvals other than getting a certificate of occupancy. And there would be no pressure to close off that gate. The other issue is safety, and I see no significant safety concerns with regard to this application. Consequently, in my opinion, there are no significant negative impacts with regard to safety. As far as the impact on zoning, again, the RI zone is industrial in nature, and the site is a transitional site between residential and industrial uses, so that I think having a house of worship on the site, I don't think has any substantial negative impact on your zone plan or on the surrounding properties. The third prong of the test, and it's called the Sika test because it was the Sika case, is that once the negative impacts have been identified, the applicant should provide measures to mitigate those impacts. And in this instance, the one impact that has been discussed is the use of the Parkgate Drive for the congregants to come in and out of the site. And the applicant has taken made an effort to mitigate that by saying he's going to require all of the congregants to utilize the southern driveway, not to utilize Parkgate Drive. So if anything, in terms of traffic impact on Parkgate Drive and on the residential development to the north, this would be better, because if this application is not approved and an industrial use or an office use goes into the space, they can all utilize Parkgate Drive. Whereas if this application is approved, the congregation will be instructed to utilize the southern entrance, and none of the traffic will utilize Parkgate Drive. The fourth prong of the Sika test is to balance the positive and negative criteria. And with regard to inherently beneficial uses, I know boards are used to the premise that the positive criteria has to substantially outweigh the negative impacts in order for the application to be approved. With regard to inherently beneficial uses, that standard, that weighing is reversed. The Supreme Court has said, unless the negative impacts substantially outweigh the positives, the application should be approved. And in this instance, it's my opinion that the positive impacts actually outweigh the negatives, so the application should be approved.
I have no further questions of Mr. Higgins, if the board has any questions.
Does the board have any questions of Mr. Higgins? Okay. All right, seeing none. Thank you very much, Mr. Higgins. Mr. Prasad, we do have to review the Bignell planning
Yes.
letter.
Would you like me to call the applicant up for that, or?
Yeah, that's fine.
Mr. Kulkarni, if you can please come up to the mic. To address some of the comments on the Bignell Planning Report, can you just confirm that that you and the applicant have submitted a parking plan that shows an isolated parking area for the congregation only?
Yes, we have.
Okay. You've discussed with the owner, you've discussed with the owner that the facility will undertake a complete cleanup and repair of all landscaped areas where there's dead and dying foliage that needs to be replaced?
That's correct.
Okay. Also, there is a rooftop terrace for the building. I believe that that's where mechanical equipment and other things are kept. Do you agree that you will not use that rooftop terrace for any of your operations or have that door locked?
First of all, it is not legally also as part of our leased area. And secondly, we will have no access to that for any purpose.
And just to reiterate one more time, if overflow parking is ever needed for any type of event or if any large events are happening on the site, you will do that off-site as you've been doing at places such as Johnson Park?
That's correct, absolutely.
Is there any other comments that the board would like me to address?
Ms. Brito?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just the last one, the lighting. If you're going to have hours after, services after hours, is it safe for the pedestrians to go through the parking into the building and it's going to be lit?
Yes, our parking is like one long row. And from that, there is this kind of a small divider to walk to the entrance of the building. And there is a light as well in that area.
All right, I would feel more comfortable if an engineer told me that the foot candles were, compliant with the ordinance.
Sure, yeah. No, I just told you what I saw, but maybe an engineer can.
If I may, we didn't have an engineer prepare a lighting plan only because there's no site changes or
Maybe just a condition of approval if the board does decide to move forward.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Brito. Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have no more questions for Mr. Kulkarni. That concludes our testimony. If the board has any questions for any of the applicant's witnesses.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna, we'll turn it over to you, counsel, to start your case. And then Mr. Puglisi, you'll go next. So wherever you want to do, if you want to use the podium, you want to use the chair and the table there.
I have a few questions for Mr. Ray.
Okay, so wherever you're comfortable.
Yep, I'm fine right here.
All right, that
I'm very
works.
comfortable with the dais.
There we go.
Mr. Ray, just two quick areas I have some follow-up questions on. Starting with the parking.
Sir, I'm gonna run the meeting here, not you. If you want to come over and take over his chair, you're more than happy to do so. But I'll run the meeting. Counsel, if you could speak into the microphone.
Yep, certainly. Starting with the parking, in your calculations, you were always assuming that the remainder of the space would always be used as a warehouse. Is that correct?
Right now, that's what it is, so yes, that was the assumption. Yes.
I understand that's what it is. And so that's you.
If it's going to be something other than a warehouse, we're going to be back in front of this board at some point in time. Yeah.
Well, are there other permitted uses in the space other than warehouse?
I didn't look at the zoning, ordinance, but I'm assuming there probably is. But if it's something other than warehouse, we'd probably have to come back to this board.
I don't know why, I'm not questioning about you're the applicant. I'm talking about the other users in the
I assumed it was warehouse. It is a warehouse building, so in doing my traffic projections, I assumed a warehouse use.
And you only assumed, as for your parking calculations, exclusively a warehouse use and no other use other than warehouse?
Correct.
But the applicant is using the space as something other than warehouse use now, if it's approved, correct?
It's going to be a house of worship, yes.
Yes, it's not going to be warehouse any longer.
Right.
So the building is potentially changing in use from a warehouse to some other use.
And that's why when I went through the numbers before, the ITE numbers for the remaining space for a warehouse would generate 67 parked vehicles. We're going to have a minimum of 153 spaces. I'm very comfortable that whatever goes into that building can be accommodated.
But you'd just be speculating at this point because you haven't done the calculations?
You got to tell me what the use is, but we're going to have a surplus of 80, 85 spaces if it's a warehouse. So I mean, that's the way I looked at it. Yes.
Okay, and then moving on to the traffic analysis at the site. And one of the board members was questioning you about turning out of, I believe, the southerly entrance or exit onto
Yes.
Park Avenue.
Yes.
And you indicated you performed some additional calculations that were not included as an appendix to your original report.
I did the calculations. They weren't in the report. I had assumed that we would probably get the exit out to Parkgate Drive, but since we're not going to have that, I did do that calculation, anticipating that question might be asked.
So just because I haven't seen the document.
You can see it. I'll give the information to whoever wants to see it.
Certainly. But my question is, just so I can understand, that supplemental calculation that you prepared, did that calculation assume that the applicant would have no access to Parkgate Drive whatsoever?
Yes, it did. Correct.
And so, but all the other schedules in your report all assume Parkgate Drive provides a means of ingress and or egress to the property?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Okay. All right, Mr. Puglisi?
I just have one question.
You have to use the microphone, please.
Brett Puglisi on behalf of 3900 Park Avenue.
Bring the microphone down just so we can hear you, sir. Thank you.
Taller to me, yeah. I just have one question. What portion of the building would be rented out by your client? Or if anybody can answer that question. Would it be the south-facing, north-facing, back, front?
Got to take a look at the plan. Usually that's not something a traffic engineer gets involved
No,
in.
it doesn't. I'm just throwing it out to
All right. I do have
council,
a plan.
planner, whomever,
Okay, give me a minute.
engineer.
It is going to be, the area, it's going to be on the south.
Mr.
south
Ray,
part-
you just bring the microphone closer.
I'm sorry, the
Thank you,
south
sir.
part of the building.
And that's where the entrance to the house of worship will be?
Yes.
All right. No further questions.
Okay. All right. Thank you very
Save
much.
the rest for public portion, if it'll please.
Excuse me?
We'll save the rest for during the public portion.
Okay,
it-
so are you planning on calling any witnesses? Is that what you're indicating?
If we are allowed to speak during the public portion, myself or my
you're-
client, if that is allowed by this board, that's where we plan on
Well, you're
speaking.
not. So this is your time. This is your opportunity. That's how this board operates.
All right, so then I'll bring up a client then, and I will direct
Okay,
questions.
if you're
to-
speaking on behalf of a client, your client will not be speaking. That's normally this board's protocol. So if you're speaking, then you're speaking on behalf of your client.
Okay, during this portion of the session.
Correct.
Right. That's,
And then I could speak during the public portion
no, you cannot.
on behalf of myself.
You're speaking right now. This is your opportunity.
Okay, all right, so I don't have any direct questions, but I do have a client, and then the reason why I asked about where the entrance to the house of worship will be is that my client is directly to the south of the building. And this is where their entrance is going to be. So if there is going to be overflow parking, and we know that what's been testified to is that the areas where the calculations for parking was for use as a warehouse, but that could change. It could be office space, which is allowed under the ordinance. It could be doctor's office or what have you. But there's about 5 feet of space between their parking area and my client's parking area. I went there today, I visited. So I would respectfully request that given the proximity of the parking areas, if the planning board was inclined to grant the application, that they be required to place a fence from the right-of-way of Park Avenue all the way down the boundary line to the existing chain link fence that exists now, with some landscaping on our side of the fence, south side of the fence.
We'll give Mr. Prasad a moment to. No, please take your time.
I'm sorry, we were just confirming that the site is, the site was calculated by the plan. I'm sorry.
The engineer calculated the parking based on warehouse space. And based on the warehouse space that would be remaining under the Edison Township ordinance and the spaces we would need for the house of worship, 173 would be required, 173 is provided. That's what I see on the plan.
I understand, but the ordinance allows for office space as well. It's not just warehouse space. So as a permitted use. So that being the case, and given the proximity to the parking areas, we would simply make that request as a condition of approval if the planning board was so inclined.
It's the zoning board.
Zoning board, sorry about that.
They're better looking on the planning board. Mr. Prasad, I'll give you an opportunity to respond.
Can you please repeat what the condition that you're requesting is?
It's simply a fence. There's an existing chain link fence for the rear portion of the boundary. Another fence where that fence ends to the right-of-way of Park Avenue. So that would prevent parishioners from parking in our lot when that lot is full, which happens. It happens. It's just normal. People want to go to Party City and it's full on the Halloween, they're going to park at the McDonald's next door. So when they have these events that would cause the overflow, that would prevent people finding the nearest avenue where to park, which would be my client's parking lot next door.
So just to clarify and just to address your request, we did submit a plan to the board for review, and we have separate parking necessary for the congregation that will be separated. We've talked to the landlord, he's agreed to that, and we don't anticipate, as Mr. Reyes testified, that we will not need any more parking than that. Overflow parking or any other parking like that for our events, for any holidays or religious events will not be happening on the site anyway. We never anticipate that. Like I said, we're not the landlords, so it's hard for us to agree to install something on the site, but we can guarantee that we have sufficient parking based under the ordinance, and the building has been considered to have enough space with the proposed uses in the building and with our proposed use as well.
I understand it's never planned for it to happen, but it does happen. And I mean, that's the reality of it. And considering the proximity of our two parking lots, I think that would be the very minimum that your client can be required to do when he's coming before the zoning board asking for a variance. That's all I have.
And if I can just address that really quick.
Okay.
Our client.
Counsel, come back, Mr. Puglisi. Maybe you just give him the respect to just let him respond.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's just going to respond.
I
There you go.
apologize.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
And just for the board's sake as well, our client is just a tenant in the building. Of course, if they own the property, we would do anything we possibly can do to appease everybody who had an issue. Our goal is not to interrupt or interfere with anyone's business or anyone's property. But like I said, we are only a tenant, so we can agree that we have enough parking spaces for our use. Anything that requires overflow will be done outside the site for any event. But as a condition, we can agree to not use their parking, and that's as far as I can do for my tenant and my client.
I mean, that's just similar to we won't use Park Gate, I mean, there's an enforcement issue problem with that. And my client shouldn't have to pay for security or what have you to get vehicles towed in case they do park in my client's driveway or parking lot. But I'll represent, and they can probably see from the maps, the parking lots between the two areas are, literally, there's a berm of 5 feet in between the two spots. So that's why I make the request.
If it is a condition that the board would like to impose on this, I would like to say that we, as a tenant, and we can guarantee that we have enough parking spaces for our need. If there's a condition that the board would like to impose, my applicant did say that he will install a fence if that is a condition that the board would like to impose on this application.
Wait, sir, you're not on microphone.
Sorry.
There we go.
One point, if I can add, in answer to this question, as well as the earlier question that you asked, how do you inform people that they should come only from that entrance? Is that not just putting the signs on the property, but we are going to put it on our website and other social media handles as well to inform people what kind of discipline they must follow so that they are not disturbing anybody else's parking space or making a wrong kind of turn that can cause any danger to the traffic. So it's not just the sign on the lot, but also through our website, etc., that will educate people. That's what I wanted to just add to this. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Puglisi, you're good?
Thank you,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. Counsel?
I apologize. I misunderstood your instructions, so I limited my presentation to my questions.
I have two kids that don't pay attention to me either, so it's all right. Obviously, it's
Me too.
it's a me problem, not a you problem, so go ahead. It's all right.
Since this is my opportunity to speak on behalf of the condominium association.
Please do.
I did want to point out that the condominium association has several concerns about this application and the proposed use of the adjacent property. Most importantly, the temple's use of this property violates a restrictive covenant that applies to that access road between the properties on Parkgate Drive. The temple would not be permitted to use that entrance for ingress or egress. And as the applicant's planner explained, without that egress, it creates a very big problem for the community. But if it had that access through our property, it would create havoc for our community. Anyone who's familiar with that entranceway knows that you can't just, it's not a nice clean entrance from Park Avenue on Parkgate Drive into the property, the 3880 property. It's a weird little wraparound that involves transitioning from the entrance lane to the community to the exit lane to the community, where people are coming and going at all times. And that's an area that the association is responsible to ensure and maintain and protect. And we do not want the additional road traffic in that area, especially when it's violating the use restriction that is applicable to that property that our developer negotiated some 40 years ago for our benefit. Additionally, the association is very concerned about how the additional use of that space is going to negatively impact the quality of life for the residents who live around that space. As the applicant indicated, they're going to be open until 8 o'clock at night on weekends and on weekdays. And once the winter gets here, you're going to have more car lights turning in and out. Our people do not want that condition amplified or the problems of that condition amplified. And then finally, the association is very concerned that the problems that this project will create, if it's permitted to have this variance, will only invite additional non-conforming uses into the space. Now, this application is only for 2,800 square feet out of 65,000. Already, this is going to create problems with traffic and parking. Imagine that this building is subdivided into all smaller uses, where we're going to have competing people trying to use that Parkgate Drive entrance, which they're not supposed to use. And the association is considering legal action against the property owner to enjoin any potential use, but especially without any type of gates preventing or restricting the use of that drive by the congregants' members or anyone else's members. There's just no way to rely upon people's good nature. I'm sorry, but people are not as good as we would like them to be. They just aren't. And if it's a faster, more convenient way to get in or out on Park Avenue, which, as their planner even testified, during peak hours, to make a left out of Park Avenue, out of this community onto Park Avenue is going to be a nightmare. You have to either hope for the good grace of someone else on the road, and this is New Jersey. We know how little good grace the other travelers on the road have, or you have to wait for some magical timing of lights. It's just, the project, the building next to Parkgate was designed for a specific purpose, and when Parkgate was constructed, an agreement was crafted to provide a symbiotic relationship between these two parcels. The Sacred Foundation, and I applaud, it's a laudable cause. I don't dispute that. It's an inherently beneficial use. It's just not what the developer negotiated and envisioned when this project was constructed back in the 1980s.
Sir, I'm going to ask a couple of questions here.
Yep.
I have no restrictive covenant. I can't guide the board, nor have they reviewed it.
Okay.
So if there's a restrictive covenant that impacts what we are discussing in terms of ingress, egress, traffic restrictions, or otherwise, this board needs to have a copy.
Yep.
That's number one. Are there enough copies for the board? Have they been submitted?
They have not yet been submitted.
Okay, so I think they need to be marked and submitted, and the board has to have an opportunity to review it.
Certainly.
And I believe that Mr. Prasad is going to want to respond to this as well, but I think we're going to need, do you have an entire set?
I have one copy. It's recorded. It's a recorded document, yes.
It's a recorded document.
Yep, it's recorded.
Okay,
It was
and
recorded on
this
March
is-
18th, 1983.
And this is an agreement between Parkgate Condominium Association and Who else?
So the agreement is between Park Stevens, Inc., which was the association's original developer, and Specs Industries, Inc., the owner of the parcel at the time.
Owner of the parcel
The
that is
3880 parcel. The applicant, the parcel on which the applicant's property is located.
Okay, I can't opine for the board's benefit as to who any of these entities are, as I've been provided no information on these entities or information. So I think that has to be reviewed, and we need.
Certainly.
Do you want to take a 5-minute?
Yeah, can we take a 5-minute recess, please? Okay, thank you. Curly-haired one?
The more pages.
All right, Mike.
We're good.
All right, we're going to return to session. All right, so during the break, we did receive a copy of this agreement. It is quite lengthy. I think, given the time of night, and Mr. Prasad, if you would agree, and the other council, if you would agree, if we call it a night for this evening so the board can review this, we could discuss it at the next meeting, and then we'll then open to the public for the public portion.
Absolutely, Board Chair. That's no problem with us at all.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Puglisi. Okay. All right. Madam Secretary?
Yes, sir. So our next available date is October 14th.
Okay. Does that work for every council, all council involved?
Let me just check with my professionals really
Okay.
quickly.
All right.
That's acceptable.
Okay. Council? Mr. Puglisi? Okay, all right. So for anyone here present, for anyone listening at home, this case will be continued on Tuesday, October 14th, with a meeting beginning at 7 p.m. here in council chamber. If you received a notice of this meeting, you will not receive another notice. This will serve as your notice. Thank you for everyone for coming out on a late summer evening, and this case will be carried on the 14th. Madam Secretary, any other business come before the board?
That'll be all this evening.
All right, seeing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion made by Mr. Schneider, seconded by Mr. Patel. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Board stands adjourned.
Thank you, sir.